At the end of this video, we'll be designing the dashboard for our PrimeNg expense manager. So this is going to be the end version. Come, let's go into the video. In our last couple of videos, you have seen how we can create the authentication page for our expense manager with PrimeNg and Bootstrap. So in this video, we're going to design the home page for it. Let's create the home page. Let me go ahead to the home page component. Nothing works. Let me update the route first. Let me add a routing module. Right, and we also need our PrimeNg here, so we'll import the shared module from our chat folder. Okay, let me save this. Now we should see home works. That's good. And now we can start working on the home page. Let me add a container. Before that, let me minimize this, and also I will minimize this. Let me add a div, and this div is a class. We have a container fluid, right? So with this we should just have a container in it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a toolbar right at the top for the head. So let me go ahead to the PrimeNg and type toolbar, and here you can see that there is a toolbar. So let me copy this module. I think we don't have this. Quickly we'll update that in our shared module. There we go, we have added that. So now we can make use of it. Just go to source and we can just copy this one and we can update it as our need. So this is a toolbar that we need, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a start and center. So let me get rid of the things which are in the start. I don't want anything in the start. So if you look at the documentation, you can see we have 3 components which you can make use of: start, center, and end. I'll just copy this and paste it once again. I'll just make this as a center, and this will hold our header. Let me say h2 prime expense tracker, right? And let's see, this one I don't want anything else here. I'll just have a an icon which shows the user icon, right? So I'll just make an avatar. So that is a component which is available for you. So I'm going to make use of the circle one. Let's go to I'll just copy this avatar module that we need. I'll just put it in the shared module, and now I'm going to add the avatar source. So this is an icon circle. Let's go to icon circle, and I'll just take this one which says extra large, but I don't want extra large. I just want a large one. I'll just remove the X from here. There you go. Let me save it and go back to our UI. That's perfect. This is what we need, but we want the size a little more small. We just decrease the size by adding the style class to it. I'll add a padding of 1, and I'll make it stick to top, right? So it will not move around. So there we go. This is what I need, but currently there's nothing happening when you click on this icon. So we need to add a menu, right? I'll just go to menu, and there you go, there is a menu model. We'll just need a menu. like this. When you click on the icon, it should show something like this. So I'm going to make use of this module. Just copy this one, and I'm going to that's it. And let's go back to the component and just follow the documentation what they have provided. Just copy this P menu item. Right. I'm just going to have this items you're going to define here with this one, the help of the items they have provided. Just copy this, we can update it. Just copy and paste it inside the component. Instead of this, I'm going to make this items. Right, this is going to be ending here. All good. And this is going to have, let's say, the username that we can. So for now, I'm just hard coding my name. I'll say edit account, and I'll just make some changes. Let me update this to logout, and let us add some icons here. Before that, edit account and logout. Right. And if you go back to the one, so currently it is not doing anything because we have not tied the menu to this particular icon. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to the documentation and see what we can do. We can just copy this click stuff which is there, and now if we save it and go back, we click on it, there we go, we got the menu populating. But for now these icons are not good, right? So we'll just update this icon, go back to here and icons and search for, let's say, user. Yeah, this looks perfectly fit for us. Let me take this out here and then update the icon. And for logout, I'll just say sign out. Yep, there it is, sign out. I can make use of this, save it, and now all should look fine now. There we go. But user will not know, right, until there is some kind of an indication when you hover it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make use of the CSS to highlight the pointer. So I'm just going to apply a CSS, a style. This style is going to be cursor pointer, and now if you hover it, now you can see whenever the mouse is on it, you can see a hand icon just shown. The icon seems to be way right at the edge of the screen. So let me pull it a little more in. Let me apply a margin end to. Yep, there we go, it's moved. And seems like we can just apply the CSS. That's okay, sorry. Okay, there we go, it's all good now. Now let's work on the footer. Let me add a footer here. Let me copy paste the same. But in this case we don't need anything at the end, and we don't anything at the start. I'm just going to have everything at the center. It's going to be head 6, and it's gonna say just AnbuZ HobbieZ. And let me add a copyright symbol here, small. For the copyright symbol you can just put and copy and a semicolon, so that should be a copyright icon, right? And you can save it, and this should not be sticky top, we can just make it as fixed bottom. so it will stay at the bottom. So you can see now it stays at the bottom. So now we can work on the internal parts of this one. Okay, so I'm going to divide the internal part into 3 sections. Let's say first one is going to have the adding or updating the transactions, like adding the income or the expense, and then next one is going to show the complete cards, which can be a kind of a graph or other stuff, and the last one is going to have the list of transactions that they can view. Right, so let me create a div, and this is going to be a row, right, and let me apply a div inside. This is going to be column 4, as we are going to divide everything into 3 parts. So let me more specific with the CSS. Let's say if it is a small device, let me apply a complete width to be occupied, and if it is from medium device, I'm going to apply 4. So I'm going to copy this and have it this thrice. Right, so we are done with creating the segments, and now let's work on inside the component. Right, let's work inside this segments. So this is going to be okay. So let's continue, and here I'm going to have a card which displays the add or update form. Let me have a div here, class card, right, and this card is going to hold the form. Let me create a header for it, and this says add or update. Right, and we also seen we have added a divider in our previous sessions, a divider from PrimeNg. Right, let's save this and see how it looks. See, there is a card which is created, but the card is not perfectly aligned. So we'll do that alignment or all those stuff, but let's consider the content what we are going to do now. Let's create a form div. So this is going to hold the complete form what we are going to create here. So let me have a class display flux. Okay, and I'm going to completely alter it as a column. So I'm going to make this as flux column, and I'm going to align the items center, align item center. Okay, there we go. Now we need a button which selects either expense or income, right? So let's go to PrimeNg and go to button, right, and here you can see there is a split button, or we can make use of a select button. Let's say select button. Yep, there we go. This is one behavior, right, we want here. So let me go to the source. Before that, let me import this module. Save it, and let me go here and add the select button, and this is going to be saying, let's say here we need it here. Let me put it here, and I'll just have this variable declared in my component, just a value. I don't want anything to be specific here. Okay, let me save this, and we need the options, right, for this. So which is in this case it's saying state option, so we'll just declare that here as a state option. We can go ahead here and see how they define the state options. Here it is defined. Just copy this and declare it right after the value, and for us we are going to make it as income, which I want to say the value of income. And let's go back to the UI. Okay, so it's saying that the ng model is not recognized because we have not used the forms, we have not imported the forms module. Let's save it. There we go, we got the button in place. Let's work on the rest of the components. The next component we want is input box, which accepts the play category, right? I'm going to have input text. So I need a left icon, so I will make use of this one. And for this we already have the text modules imported. Let me go ahead and copy this one. It says and let's go back here and add the next one. Okay, we have to copy the complete stuff anyway. So let me remove this ng model, we don't want that for now. Placeholder is category, and it's an input text box, and this is going to have a icon. Let me go to icon. Okay, and let's take the icon with this kind of a dashboard thing. Yeah, we can take this one and put it here, save it, and we want a text area to add our nodes. So now we are here, we can work on that later, the rest of the styling part. And we need a text area where we can enter the nodes for the expense, right? So let me take this default one. We need this module to be imported. Let me import that. Save it, go back and copy the text area one. Just copy it, go back to there is not much difference, only the rows and columns that we have to update. Let me go back to the HTML and paste this. And we also need icon here, so let me copy this one. It says the input icon, and I'll just copy this as well here. As we need and nodes, I'll just go to icons and copy the file. Yep, file edit is a correct thing which I want. Let me copy and paste it here. And I don't need any label for this for now, right? And I'm going to say I don't want 5 rows, instead I'll just give this as and I don't want to specify the columns as well. Okay, save it. Yeah, we got the input box, and we need the date the transaction had happened. So let me take a calendar. A basic one would work for us. And same, we have to import the component, go back, import it. It's already imported, so we don't need to remove it. Go back here and copy the calendar one. Right, the basic one, I'll just copy the basic one. And I think similar, we can just copy the same implementation again, and let's copy this calendar thing and put it inside, and we go to icons and select the calendar. Okay, let me take this one and put it here. And instead of this date, I'll just copy the date, and I'll also give the date format for this. date format is going to be mmddyy, right? We're good with this. And just copy the date. I'll just name it as a, yeah, I'll just put it in the doc component. Just put it inside here. It's going to be date, new date. Let me save the HTML and take a look at it. There we go. And we need a button, which we need a couple of buttons to save and clear, right? Let me add the button. Let me add a div here which will add the button, right? You can say class display flex, and it's going to be in a row, right? So we can just you don't have to specify, but I'll just center it. Just if I can center, and we'll add the buttons here. I can just copy paste the buttons from our sign in page where we had a button. Where is the button here? Yeah, there it is. It's a forgot password button, which I don't want it. Yep, here it is. Password, login. This is sign in, right? Okay, there we go. There's a button. Let's just copy this and go back here to the component and paste it here. This is going to do something, but for now let me remove this things. I don't need this. And instead of this block icon, I'm just going to say plus icon. So that's going to be like this. Yeah, there you go. And we also need one more icon, a clear button. So let me take a button, and I'm going to make such this kind of this danger one, right? It's a rounded button one. Let me go to the source, rounded button, outline buttons. I'm going to take this one, copy this, and right after this I'll paste it, and I'll just label it as so instead of this one is going to be add, and this one is going to say clear. All good, and save it. Let's see now. Yep, seems like this is what we expect. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to just align this things properly. First thing is first we have to align the whole container in row thing into give some padding. Let me give the padding here, save it. And we also need the card to pop a little up, so I'm going to use the bootstrap card shadow thing. So I'm going to use a larger shadow. I'll just use this, copy it, and let me apply this to this card. And we'll also apply a margin bottom of 4 so that the next card which we see now, the card is little popped up out of the screen. Now let's apply some padding to the text. Let me add padding star 4 and padding top 4, right? And let me save this, and this divide is okay. And for every item we need to add a class of see now everything is kind of just over like next to each other, right? So we need some gap between these two. So let me add a padding to all. Let me give a class padding 2, and let me copy this and paste it here. And basically we have to paste it to this one, padding 2, And if we apply a padding of 2 here, like we have to apply a padding of 4, because for this it is only we need only the padding up and down, so we'll apply in x-axis, applied a padding of 4. So if we apply a padding of 4, this is going to be um, misaligned a little if we apply a padding in the y-axis. So we'll just make I'll just show you why we are adding a padding here. Let me remove this and save it. Let me see now. See, now this one is misaligned, right? So for that we need to apply a padding star of 2, and we save it. So sorry, it should be a 4, right, in the x-axis. Yeah, there we go, it came on the right place. And I want this text box to be kind of little big. I want to be occupying the complete space, so let me give width of 100, and we need to apply this here, class width of 100. Yeah, there we go, this is what I need. So let me apply the same styling to the rest of the fields, and the same thing here. And same width. It's not going to work on the calendar, but let's apply it. Save it. There we go, it's all what we need, right? So it should be like this. Is all we need. Further, I'm going to apply a little more padding to the buttons. Let me apply a padding of 4 around the button, so look like this, and between the buttons we need some gap. Let me apply a padding for this first button, but here we cannot apply a padding. Instead we can apply a margin end of 2. There we go, looks good. Let me have a icon here as well, and icon position will be the right, and let me have the icon. So this is going to be times. Looks good now. So this looks much neat. This card is now done. Let me we can start working on the next card, which shows the stats of the expense. Okay, so this card is completed. Let me save it, and let us go to the next one, which shows the stats. So we are going to make use of here. We are going to make use of the card from PrimeNg. Let's go to card, and we're going to make use of this card module. We have already used this, so I'll just make use of this card module. Just copy and paste it here, and save and show you how it looks. There we go, we got the card in place. Now before that, let's create a div which holds this, and move it inside. Give a class of column. It's going to be a column. It's a card. I'm going to get rid of the header and style, let it be. I'll update that later, and we can apply more styling later. And the header is going to hold, let me say this is going to be at 6, class text center, and it's going to say total balance, right? And the rest of the stuff is going to be the body, so I'll just remove it, just copy and paste once again. and let's name it as footer. And footer is going to hold two items. One is the income, and what is the total income and what is the total expense, right? So we'll create two divs here. So we'll create a div to hold it. Let's name it as let's go give a class deflex, and justify content between, so that we can just give a same amount of space between two divs. Let me give the div, and we'll create one more div. Okay, these are the two divs which are going to hold other items. Let me have this as a class and row, and I'll just align the item center. I'll do that later. I must decide on the items div class column, right? And the next one is going to be, I'm just going to create an icon, and next to that I'm going to place the text, right? For that we need the icon from PrimeNg. Let me take icon, and let me take one which, yep, this looks good. And income, I'll use the circle up, and for expense, like I'll just use these two icons. Like when we make it dynamic, we can just see if the income is low, then the expense will just make it as down arrow and then up arrow. So for now I'll just make use of this two icons. Let me copy the syntax for it. Just copied it and paste it inside, and update the income. For that, for the income I'm just going to make use of this circle down, right? I'm just going to give a color, and going to give a color for this, color of 00ff3f. it's going to be a green. Yep. And this is going to be another column, class column. I'm going to say h6 income, and inside this I will create a span of h4 which displays the total amount, let's say $4,000. Let me save this and show you how it looks like. See, this is how it's going to look like. So we're going to design it in the same way for the expense as well. We can just copy paste the same stuff on the other side. I'll just go to this row, right, and just format it once again. You can see this is what it is. Just copy it. Just copy the content of it and paste it here. And now I'm going to say up, and I'll just choose a red color here. Instead of this, I'm going to make use of ff3200. It's going to be a red. I'm going to say expense and save it, and you can see now, there we go. And we'll just apply a class of row. Right, looks good. So I think we have it in place. So what is the content of it? It's going to be h1, which is going to give the total amount you have in the balance. Let's say you have a 50,000 balance in your account, so it's going to come here. Let me align it center, class text center, and I'll just have 0 padding for this. There we go. And I'll also want to bring the total balance little down, so I'll just apply padding top of 6 and save it. didn't come down. Let me give it. Yeah, there it goes. It came down a little. That's fine for me. And let's align this these two items. Let's go to the column, and I'll just remove the padding from like I'll just align the uh, items in center and vertically. Align item center. I'm going to make so the same here as well. So if you look at now, it should come. Yeah. So there we go. It came to the center, and I have applied it the wrong place. Instead of a row, I have applied it the column, and save it. So there we go. There is a good amount of change we can see. Now let's apply some padding to the next column. Let me apply 0, because so there is some more space you can see. 0 and save it. Zip. Yeah, that's all looking good. Let me okay, I think let me apply this padding to the previous one, so that it comes inside. Right now the card looks perfectly fine. I'm going to apply a linear background for it, and before that I'm also interested in applying the popping shadow to this. Right, let me apply a style class. And style class going to be a shadow large, which we have given here. Just copy it, and I'm going to apply a little padding, and margin bottom is going to be 3, so that the next element will be a little good. There we go. The card is a little popped up now, and let's apply the background here. Let me remove this background. And I'm going to use a linear gradient of 150 degrees, and these are the colors which is going to follow. 46 A1 E6, come on, E6 93 FE, come on, FC 9472. So these are the colors which I have already decided. So space 100%, and let's save this and see how it looks. There we go. We got the card perfectly coming out, and the color of the text is not that good. So let me apply a text light on this. There we go. It looks much better now. And the card bar, I want a little more border for this card. Let me apply that also. Sorry, there's a typo. There we go. Now the card is looking much better. Let's move to the next segment where we can show the transactions. This is also done. Let's move to the third one where we can show the transaction. Again, I'm going to create a card here. Let me create a div class card. Right. So in this div is going to hold, give the header of transactions, right? And I'm going to apply a divider. and then I'm going to start so I'm going to add a virtual scroller where we can add a list of items inside this. So you can go here to the PrimeNg, you can see virtual scroller, right? So we want this kind of behavior where we can show the list of items inside this. For now I'm not going to dynamically load anything, it's going to be a static one. I'll just create a list of items and then display them. So I'll just copy this virtual scroll module. Let's go back here to the PrimeNg module and put it here, and just copy paste this virtual scroller module, paste it. That's it. Let's go back here and then just copy the syntax of the virtual scroller. I'll just copy this one because this is much easy for me. Just going to be a static one. Just copy and paste it here. So here I don't want any header or anything. I just want the item to be displayed here, so that let me also get rid of rest of the stuff. We don't need anything, any sort here. Get this out and delete this also. So, okay, and this is going to be a transactions. I'm going to define this inside our component. Let me say the transactions are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, for now this is going to be the transactions for us, and I'm just going to iterate through them, and it's going to be a transaction. Okay, and inside this we are going to design our card, right? I'm going to make use of the same card which we have used in the previous session. I'll just design it as a P card, the PrimeNg card I'm going to make use of, and we can add the content here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an icon first, and then followed by a text which describes what is the transaction and the amount of the transaction and the date. It's going to be displayed in this card. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a div which holds the icon and which holds the icon and everything inside it, right? So let me go back, go add it, and let me create a div which holds the icon and the transaction description. Okay, and let me go ahead and add the icon here, and this icon is going to be a rounded one, so I'll just add one more div where we can add the icon. So I'll just go ahead and add class of what we can use. I'll just go to icons. Let me take a card. Yep, this is okay for me. Let me take this one, PI credit card. This is much better, right? I'll just use this PrimeNg card and save this. Now let me go here. See, now there are cards being displayed in this particular virtual scroll bar, right? So we are going to apply a rounded border for this. We're going to have a transaction description followed this, and we are going to have the amount of the transaction and when the transaction happened. I think the video is taking quite long, so I'm going to cut this here, and I'm going to put it in a different like I will continue this in a part 2 video where we can complete this transaction, and we'll add some more statistics of all the expense happen, right? Thank you for watching the video.